It shows us that if we AI enable our management models, it can bring us significant benefits.
Hello everyone, I'm Ms. Huang, and welcome to WISE-IoT in Action, driving industries forward. In this series, we'll take you on a journey through various industries to explore how technology can enhance competitiveness and productivity. By tapping into the valuable experiences and insights of experts, we aim to help you to seize the tech wave and embrace the era of smart manufacturing. In the manufacturing industry, generative AI can optimize production processes, improve product quality, and increase production efficiency. Advantech, a global leader of IPC, currently has over 12 generative AI-related applications in its manufacturing operations. For our first episode, we'll walk you through the Advantech Linkou campus, where we have invited Huang, our factory director, to share Advantech's journey of integrating generative AI and the key strategies for success. Through Advantech's experience, we'll quickly grasp the essentials of implementing generative AI.
So today we are very happy to have Frank invited.
I am currently the manager of the Linkou factory. As a factory manager, our daily work mainly involves production management. We believe that the differences in competitiveness of factories in the future will be significant.
First, let's hear from Mr. Huang about the current challenges facing the manufacturing industry and how generative AI can be used to break through these bottlenecks. We'll also explore the specific applications where Advantech has integrated generative AI.
In recent years, the main issue with the supply chain has been the rapid changes. The speed of response is fundamentally more important. The supply chain is actually very long, extending from the potential demand side to the production side, and then to the supply side of materials. So today, when there is any change on the demand side, it requires a person to relay that information all the way to the end to make a response. In fact, the reaction speed is quite slow. Therefore, we envision that if we integrate some AI at various nodes in the entire supply chain, it could act on behalf of certain personnel at those nodes to facilitate quicker responses. Oh, that's because you imagine that AI has no delays, so it can respond in a timely and synchronized manner. This way, the overall response speed of the supply chain can be improved. We have a good case where we integrate AI into the assembly production line. In this situation, we're analyzing the reasons for productivity anomalies on the production line. Once we understand the causes, we will implement countermeasures based on those reasons, such as making adjustments to personnel or changing the positions of workers or the education and training, etc. After execution, there may be a follow-up after a while, maybe 1 hour or 2 hours later, to confirm how effective the execution was. So AI also helps us with the verification work. So we basically let AI learn the logic and processes of how we handle things. Throughout the entire process, you will find that this logic is clear. By collaborating with AI, we made a significant adjustment to our management approach. This part has been in operation for about 3 to 4 months. We can see a double-digit growth in productivity, so we believe this is quite a good application. It shows us that if we AI enable our management models, it can bring us significant benefits.
Thank you, Frank, for in-depth analysis. It's clear that Advantech is actively positioning itself in the field of generative AI. Now let's move on to the highlight of this episode. Exclusive reveal that Advantech System Factory's practical experience and key success factors in implementing generative AI.
I would like to focus on key processes, the expert database, and the operational logic of this AI. These few points are what we consider important to grasp when implements AI. The first key point is that generative AI must integrate seamlessly with your workflow.
A well-designed workflow allows users to break down complex scenarios and build AI applications using a low-code, drag-and-drop method. This not only aligns more closely with on-site operational processes, but also reduces the likelihood of AI hallucinations.
Let me give a simple example. Since our first exposure to AI was through ChatGPT, it was natural for us to use this method for application. So we introduced a tool on the production line. Today, if a colleague encounters a problem, he can ask
Chatbots.
right? However, after we actually implemented it for a while, we felt that the usage rate was not very high, and the benefits generated were also not significant. We found that the way it was used did not align well with the user's workflow. Because in the past, before the emergence of generative AI, when colleagues encountered problems, they would go to the expert database to search for solutions. However, after the introduction of this system, when they encountered issues, they first needed to write down what problems they faced before proceeding. The thing is to take your time. And if there are some differences in your prompts on
Chatbots,
your results may vary significantly. So of course, the effectiveness will not be very good. So this is a case in point. The AI is excellent, but if it cannot integrate well with our processes, it won't be able to deliver the desired effects. I believe this is the first key to success. Additionally, I think there are two other important aspects. One of them is the expert database I just mentioned. Factories are considered a specialized domain, and many issues faced by factories cannot be resolved using general databases available outside. It's unlikely that you can say, there was a problem in my factory today, so I'll just Google it and expect a solution. Therefore, in the process of using AI, we must establish an expert database. Only with such an expert database can AI truly function. The data from the domain can only be analyzed to provide us with a truly useful result. In the past, a lot of knowledge was stored in each person's mind, and people would handle things directly without needing to maintain their knowledge. I think this is something that everyone lacked experience in. I see it as a learning process. Overall, there are a few key points to pay attention to, including that knowledge must be maintained in a fixed format, and you must know who the audience for that knowledge is. We must clearly define these matters when we establish the expert database. The last point I think is also quite important. When we use
generative AI,
it should not operate as a black box logic. For instance, if I ask it a question today and it provides me with an answer, I should understand how it arrived at that conclusion. The problem is that if you feel the answers provided are not satisfactory, you don't know how to train it because you have no idea how it formulates its responses. Another issue is that you cannot predict what it will respond with as it operates as a black box. Therefore, I believe this presents challenges in our practical application. We hope that the logic of the AI is something we can grasp.
Finally, let's take a look at what tools Advantech has implemented. In addition to mastering these three key factors to accelerate the development of generative AI applications.
In the past, when we were guiding some applications, users and IT would have a lot of necessary discussions, which would take quite a long time. However, I recently discovered that there are some so-called
generative AI
platform in the industry now. It allows no-code users to define it themselves and then generate an application on their own. So I think this is quite a good approach, because it's not feasible for everyone to seek IT support. In fact, we have recently developed around 12 projects on-site.
The applications we've developed include production and manufacturing, optimizing production line processes, capacity analysis, test program generation and error proofing, maintenance consulting, FQC quality inspection, and in relation to the supply chain, order and delivery management, as well as material correlation analysis.
Currently, we see that the applications they have developed are quite impressive, to be honest. I believe this is a great encouragement for us, because we have a platform that supports the development of generative AI.
With its ability to create visual interfaces using low-code or no-code methods, and its underlying AI technology, has significantly shortened the time required for AI deployment in the enterprise. What's more, the platform can flexibly adapt to different configuration modes based on user needs, whether for simple, quick-to-learn application scenarios or highly precise processes. In summary, this platform has not only enhanced our development efficiency, but also provided robust support for the implementation of AI applications in the enterprise, enabling us to face future challenges with greater confidence.
After hearing Frank's experience in this episode, I believe everyone has grasped a few key factors for successfully implementing generative AI in factories, including for the first one, integration with workflows. Second, building an expert database. Third, understanding AI operational processes. Additionally, using a local generative AI development platform can more effectively accelerate the implementation of generative AI and the development of related applications. Let's work together to truly move towards Industry 4.0 and one day even Industry 5.0. See you all in the next episode. Bye!